BBI will not revive Mumias. It will not address insecurity issues in Northeastern. Alex Chicks Wanjohi gives a sarcastic laugh. He says, haha, BBI is just a document to cater for a few people's interest, especially on power matters. As youth, we should sort ourselves, not waiting for a platform like BBI that will never sort our issues. Their opinion there. And of course, my guests are still with me in studio. Pethon Mushoki, a community organizer at Vijana Wongozini, Susan Wangari, Secretary, Orthodox Christian Youth Association of Kenya, and James Mora, the Chairman, Orthodox Christian Youth Association of Kenya. Now, Susan, I said I will come back with you. And I'd like us to address the issue of, again, us as youths, are we letting ourselves down? Because if I could go back to when President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed, former Vice President Mudi Awori as a member of the Sports, Art and Social Development Fund Board, and people criticized him, for appointing the former VP. And he said, if you see how young people we have trusted with positions steal public money, it's rather I appoint somebody like Awori, whom I'm sure will protect your money to ensure intended developments and services get back to the people. Leave me alone, people should stop making noise and let me do my work, he said. What do you think, Susan?
I do not think we are letting ourselves down. That's one, because among 100 youths, we do not expect 100 of them will do the right thing. There will always be a few elements here and there that will go contrary to it. But that doesn't mean that the whole group of the youths are doing the wrong thing, that when we are given a post, we are going to swindle the government funds, or we are not going to do the right thing. I think it's just a matter of just a few elements that were put in position that happened to go against the code of conduct or what was expected of them. But that doesn't mean they cannot keep giving us the positions that are intended for the youths. I think they should really look into their system of how they vet these people, how they come to a point of nominating and who they do nominate. I think it's just a matter of how much research they're doing into a person. Because I do believe if a person has a good track record, when they're given a position in government, they're not going to let go of their track record and go in the opposite direction. They're going to keep doing what they're intended to do. So I think when the right people are given those positions, they'll do the right thing. And those positions, they will have marvelous outcome, if at all they are given to the youths. Because we believe we have the right minds, we have the right energy, positive energy to do the work, and we can do everything the way it's intended to be.
You mentioned vetting, and you reminded me, former sports CS, Rashid Echesa. Yeah. I won't say anything else. James, I want your opinion, or rather your views regarding what I've said on whether we are letting ourselves down. Once these positions are given to us, are we taking advantage of them?
I think I would agree with my colleague that we are not necessarily letting ourselves down. Let's look at this in another dimension. I mean, the fact that we are getting the aged people in our position in the name of we are inexperienced or we are underperforming is because we were not given the chances in the first place to practice how to do it right. We have to be given these positions. Some few of us will let us down, of course. And this is actually a challenge. If you're given a position of leadership, know that you are carrying the image of the youth at large. Please don't give us a very bad image. So this is to encourage or to tell the government they are doing good to give us the chances. And for us, the youths who have the positions, let us take the image of the youth positively. Let us be example of what youthful leadership is about. We have a lot of positive vibe. We have a lot of positive energy. And again, to tell you, Grace, somebody who is looking for something to just make you look bad will find one. And considering we, as a country, 90% of the active generation population are the youth. So we cannot overlook the fact that we are the majority. So I think for something like sports, to be honest, for something like sports, I think we should have given another youth also. Because like my colleague was saying here, I mean, we know what is best for us. So I think it is a problem of empowerment. Let us be nurtured, let us be empowered, and we will do wonders in this country. Thank you, Grace.
Bethan?
Yes, I totally agree with James. Let them empower us. There's no human being who's perfect. And I believe, and even when you look in the corporate world, you'll find young CEOs, you'll find young financial managers in charge of big corporations. And so what those corporations have done, they have been able to tap the energy, the creativity, the intelligence of these young people. And that's why I'm saying the government has no idea on what to do with the young people. That we have this big population of talented people, but instead of mentoring them, they're just trying to find fault. And as you said, you will find fault in me if you want to see one. And so even in choosing old people, I have no issue, but let it also be by merit. Because another example is the example of Mary Wambui. She was chosen to chair the employment board, but she was not qualified. She was not qualified. And so we have young people who, if you give them a department, they will do wonders. And so I think it's just that lack of opportunity and mentorship that we need to be given. And I will say, not just being given, but we also, as young people, need to earn it. And I've given the example of the CEC, a young lady in Embu County. And yes, she's hardworking, and in diligence, she's so excellent, and I think she earned the position. And that's someone that we will watch in the next few years. So even us as young people, we have a role to play. Let's, play our part. If your strategy is like Zach Kenuthia, just do it. But you can't just be given anything from nowhere. People aufanyi kitu, alafu I'm expecting that I will be given an appointment. Apana. It's either I make noise, either I'm excellent in my work, either I'm dressing nicely. Yani, I have to have something, to stand out so that at least I'm noted. But kama sisi vijana tunasema tupatiwi kazi or kazi zinapatiwa wazee, and there's nothing we're doing about it, I think let's also be fair. We have a role to play as young people.
Indeed, I agree. Let's talk about something that you, James, raised, when we took the break, and it's on the positions that have been created, under this report. And what most people have been talking about is the Prime Minister position. And there's something you said about, was it the resources for creating this positions? I'd like, to get your thoughts on that.
I think, Grace, the first question is to ask, can we really afford that? I don't know, because the answer might be relative. I don't know whether we really need that badly. But again, I think I am not in a position to air my feelings, but I would say that we need to look into that again.
Why are you not in a position to air?
Because I feel that some parties being left out. A parliamentary system, creation of the Prime Minister's post, and creation of many other posts, with 55% of youths being unemployed, with the university graduates roaming around the villages. I mean, it's just use the order of priority. What is important?
What is important, Susan?
Well, I necessarily don't think it's really that important, because for one, I think it's just a mirror of what is happening right now with the Constitution. Because for some of the duties of the then proposed Prime Minister, I think they're already being carried out by somebody else in the current government. So I don't think it's really that's important to have that post, because we are working with the current people who are there. Because in the current government that is currently there, the position of the Prime Minister is just a change of the title and a change of a few roles here and there, and then given the title, the Prime Minister. So I do not think it is the order of priority in our country. And I think that is one of the reasons why the youths are feeling that they're being left out in the implementation or the writing of the BBI, because they were not really taken as the priority of the nation. They were not taken as their views were not really incorporated when they're coming up with some of these posts like the Prime Minister. So I think, especially if you listen to people, I think that is the one thing that really stands out to the whole document. And that is the only thing that actually makes people feel like there's something wrong somewhere. Yeah.
They just want to keep the positions to themselves.
Yes.
So, and that's why they're saying it's a scam. And someone has mentioned and has said, you know, boardroom decisions. I think if I've said the document is brilliant, but I think on this one, I might guess it was a boardroom decision, and ilongezwa tu hapo, and so everything else, because vile tuko tumefunzwa hivyo Grace, a report comes and then tunaenjoyiwa. Another task force comes, tunaenjoyiwa. So I wouldn't find fault in people who are saying it's a scam, because we are used to it. TJRC report, mpaka sai, it's still shelved in Parliament. There's nothing that has been done on it. And so when they are saying it's a scam, and especially on this section, because previously there was another proposal, the Punguza Mzigo proposal, and it's actually the opposite of this one, because it was saying let's reduce Parliament, let's give more money to the devolved units, as in basically tupunguzie Wanjiko Mzigo. This one is the outright opposite, tuongeze Wanjiko Mzigo. And the report actually, the BBI says that one of the major problems is we have a leadership crisis. And actually they have pointed out and said most Kenyans say that our leaders are our problems. It's in the report. Our leaders are our problems, ni wao wanatugawanya, and so ni Wakenya wamesema. So to me, I will agree with Susan and James, and I will agree with the millions of other young people. We don't need this post. I was trying to look at the job description of the Prime Minister. Sijui, sikuelewa. Sikuelewa. Sijui, you know, government business, and sijui whatever the president atampatia afanye. It's not really, you know, important. We can do away with it. So I'm in agreement. You know, let's scrap it off. Let's endorse everything else that the BBI said.
Let's talk more on the contents of it, particularly the issue of corruption. I love the reaction. You know, and especially that bit where they said they'll be offering, you know, 5% as an incentive to whistleblowers. Susan, what do you think? Are you for it? You know, is it a good proposal for you that if I say Susan is doing this, then, you know, the money is recovered, I'll get about 5% of it?
On paper, it's very good.
On paper.
I will agree. On paper, it's very good. But it comes to implementation. The implementation bit is what becomes more of like a tussle when it comes to this nation. It will come to an extent where we have the document, if implemented. We do have the document. The document says if I'm a whistleblower, whatever will be collected, I should be given 5%. But then, what will be collected in the long term? Because currently, all the issues that are currently going on, I do not think we have seen much of what has been collected per se. So even if the document on that section is implemented, I do not think it will actually be any less different from what is happening right now. I do not see it working efficiently, and especially when it comes to issues where I'm a whistleblower, and people will know I'm a whistleblower. So how confident am I that I'm actually going to stand out, especially as a youth? I'm actually going to stand out and say, I'm a whistleblower, this and this has happened, and I demand my 5%. So I do not think it's really practical enough. Yeah.
James?
Karibu kwa nchi ya connection. When you are a whistleblower, it means that ni lazima, you went to court, it was proven that there was corruption involved, and actually whatever was taken was recovered, so you get your 5%. Remind me, Grace, when was the last time the court actually gave a ruling on a corruption case? So you can imagine how long a whistleblower has to wait for something to be brought to justice. Again, I think Kenya is, like I said in Swahili, ni nchi ya connection. Lazima unajua mtu fulani, anajua fulani ndio ufikia fulani. Which is a very big problem. And that, the issue of corruption is not necessarily the burden of the government. It is the responsibility of each and every one of us. How do we deal with the issue of corruption? And you will allow me, Grace, to use my organization as an example. The Orthodox Church gives scholarships to Kenyans every single year. But I will surprise you today that my bishop, His Eminence Archbishop Macarius, gives scholarships to people who do not even belong to our church. They do not kind of select somebody because you know someone who knows someone. Even if you know me, Grace, you will not benefit. They have to see that you're really needy, and regardless of where you come from, you're given scholarship to go abroad and study. Most people actually who are working in the county governments have earned their scholarships from us. It means that transparency and corruption can end from us. That you don't need to help somebody because you know them. You don't need to give a service to people because they are giving you something. It is up to each and every one of us, the Kenyans, to change the system by the way we do things. Now, I think before we now go to the issue of, again, whistleblowing, taking the issues to court, and they spend 10 years in court, and you will die a whistleblower having received nothing, and again, if you are lucky, you live to see the next sun.
If you're lucky. You speak so passionately about connections. Do you have a personal experience that you'd like to share?
No, I don't have a personal experience, but
sure?
I've seen this happen.
Are you sure you're not talking about yourself?
No, I'm not speaking about myself.
Okay, Pithan, let me get your thoughts regarding that.
So the 5, it's interesting. I wish these recordings, if they say they went to all the counties, I wish they were recorded, because we don't know if it's us, the Kenyans, who said we want that 5%. Now we don't know. We don't know if it's us who said. We don't know if it's the task force who recommended, who said, by the way, let's put this. We don't know. So the intention might be good, let's stop corruption, but I think it's the wrong model. I think the best model is to let every citizen know that it's their responsibility, number one, to work in integrity, and basically to, expose, corruption. So if people are going to expose corrupt people because they want the 5%, I don't think we'll be doing it genuinely, and I think still we won't end that plague of corruption. So I think, to me, that 5%, it's a wrong model of trying to solve the issue of corruption.
But then again, if implemented, is your security as a whistleblower guaranteed?
Yeah, that's another thing, because now you utajenga nyumba ununue gari and then they say it's the whistleblower. So I don't think there's any protect
or even the people you're exposing, you know, coming after you.
Yeah, true.
You
Yeah.
know?
So I don't know if they have given how they will do about it, whether you know your privacy is going to be
yes.
So if it's that, maybe it could work, but they need to explain more. But to me, it's the wrong model of fighting corruption.
Still under the youth, Susan, let's talk about that bit where they say, you know, to help young people form businesses, open and an advice desk in every Huduma Center manned by a business development expert. Let's talk about the impact of this.
Well, I do not think the impact is that great enough to be felt, especially in Mashinani, because most of the youths, they do know and they are educated that there is funds that is meant for the youth, but they do not know how to actually access them. But then when we have one person at the Huduma Center, it is good we have Huduma Centers in the country because they have served their purpose. That is one thing that has actually worked perfectly in this nation. The Huduma Centers do work their purpose. But then when we do have one person, so like for example in my constituency, the Greater South constituency, the only Huduma Center I do know is around Kibera. So all of us would be going to the one Huduma Center for consultation, which I do not think is perfectly enough because we are very many of us. So I think the best way they would have tackled it is having several people to educate them. Then these people will now trickle down to the youths Mashinani, because as per where we are, it is not greatly felt. We do not feel the impact of it all. Plus the education on the business setups, how to access the funds. It is not really that greatly felt by the youths at the county levels. Yeah.
Okay, I'm told we need to wrap up, but James, let's just be fair. Let's also talk about some of the challenges that we bring upon ourselves, you know, as the youth. Yes, we've talked about unemployment, you know, corruption and everything, but if, for instance, we could mention being slaves of, say, debt, especially now with, you know, the unregulated mobile lending shacks, do you think these are things that we bring upon ourselves, you know, that I can easily access, say, I don't know, Shwari, Tala, branch, to an extent that they're now calling me here, they call people, you know, you owe us and all. Are we bringing such issues, you know, to ourselves? James.
Okay, allow me to say, Grace, if I am going...
Or is it the economy, if I could just cut you short? Yes. Are there other factors that are contributing to this?
The main factor, actually, I would say, it's the economy. Things are tough. Mashinani mambo ni different.
Kwa ground.
Mambo si rahisi. Because if I am forced to just find a mobile loan app, it's because I am at the edge. I am at the masses of me and probably not having anything. So I would say, if we would see that this habit is common with young people, it means that young people are not nurtured economically. We don't have anything that actually gives us income. That is the problem. If we would participate, like in agribusiness, if this kind of funds were introduced, that we can actually loan from a secured form of parastatal or secured form of government section that helps us to actually invest, then we would not need to take the loans. But the truth is that almost 90% of every youth is a victim of this. So it means that we need to find ways and means to have our people be having something and participating to grow economically. Because if you have something you're doing, you have your own job, then it means that you don't need to loan. So if you get me something to do, trust me, you'll not find me
You won't go down that way.
getting the loans.
Okay, we need to get your closing remarks. Of course, we need to wrap up. I'd like to start with you, Susan.
Well, first, I think we need to encourage the youths, the fact that wherever you are, whether you are just generally in your community or at the county level, you do not have to be at the political level for you to feel like you're having an impact in this nation. Wherever you are, whether it's in the church, or whether it's in an organization like yours, we need to let them know that your voice needs to be heard. You need to do what is expected of you. You need to stand out, do what is right, and know that these are the times, and we are the people. We need to talk. We need to actually be liberated enough to an extent where I do not need somebody, a third party, to come and tell me that this is the way we need to go. That I can actually path my own destination and actually be on the good path of life. Yeah, James.
Because we are lapping up, I would like to thank the Standard Media Group for giving us the opportunity to air our views and at least to give us a platform to say what we feel. Again, I would like also to thank the head of the church, the Orthodox Church, that is His Eminence Archbishop Makarios, all members of the Orthodox Christian Youth Association of Kenya who have worked tirelessly to campaign. Actually, Grace, in the next campaign, I will invite you. We just had a recent peace walk telling the youth that if we have a peaceful nation, we'll have a prosperous one. So I believe, and all the youth organizations out there who are working hard to encourage the youth and to put them into their place and make them understand that these are the times for us and we are the people. So thank you very much again.
You're welcome. Pithan, you have the last say.
Yes, thank you. Mine are just a parting shot. Two things. One, to the government. Article 55 of the Constitution says that the government should take measures and affirmative action programs to ensure that the young people access employment. That's their responsibility, and I pray that the government acts on it. My second parting shot is to the young people of Kenya. The young people of Kenya, this nation belongs to us. The old folks will not be here in the next 50, 60, or 70 years. We are in charge of the destiny of Kenya. And I want to tell them that the BBI is a brilliant document. Whether they implement it or not, let's endorse it. Let's bring the ideas from Punguza Mzigo. Let's see the brilliant ideas in the BBI, and let's implement the BBI before we leave this earth and leave Kenya a good place for our children.
Indeed. Thank you so much. That's a great place to end it. Thank you, Pithan Bushoki, community organizer at Vijana Uongozini, Susan Wangari, Secretary, Orthodox Christian Youth Association of Kenya, and James Maura, Chairman, Orthodox Christian Youth Association of Kenya. Thank you for joining me today. So we did ask, whether your aspirations were covered by the BBI, and of course I'll be sampling more at the end of this program. But just to read out a few, Alfred says, no way when the BBI is conducted by the youth, like Yusuf Haji and Amos Wako. Harrison Langat Bomet says this BBI report we only had from social media. We haven't had a copy of it, so we don't know if there's a section in it which has positive impact on the youth. There must be a hidden agenda